Hey, I'm Noodle Yeti, and I am finally going to be playing and sharing City Skylines too. There's 100 other creators you could be watching right now, so thank you for choosing this video. But I do want to mention why I'm kind of late to the party here. I was actually pretty upset and mad at the initial release. They had a lot of performance issues, as well as just me disagreeing with some of the way the mechanics work. So let's see here. What button do I got to push? Oh, I had to push that one. All right. Let's get to creating a city. Now, I'm going to go with the first map up there. If you didn't notice already in the intro where I showed the little island there, the map is called Archipelago Haven. I don't know if this is one of the ones that comes in the pre-order pack. I know San Francisco is, so I'm not going to pick that one, but I hope Archipelago Haven isn't. If you've seen some of my videos before, I was doing a city called Applegate before this. It was an island city. And I realized just how much I like building on islands, so I'm going to continue with the theme of island building and go with this one. I did choose the name Cardinalia, as you also probably could tell maybe by the something, and either the thumbnail or the title or the intro or something. But the reason why I wanted to go with this name was because cardinal, you know, like the cardinal directions, it's fundamental. And everything else beyond that is based off of it, you know, like north, south, east, west, or whatever. And then you got like northeast, northeast, east, northeast, and so on and so on. All the cities I build after this are going to be based on what I learn here. So I'm really not going to have a whole lot that I want to guide this city with. No real major narrative. Just kind of go with the flow, build it, learn about the game and whatnot. But let's see here. That's the name. You can see right under that we got theme selection. You got European and North American. I'm going to go with North American, but I do want to mention that this does not change your building architecture for zoned buildings. You could choose between North American and European whenever you want for residential and commercial. And I believe, I don't know if Office has it or not. I haven't really messed around too much with that yet. What this theme selection does, as you could read in the little tooltip up there, it says something about like the visual style of service buildings. Well, it says buildings, but what it means is service buildings. Same with service vehicles and roads, road signs and whatnot, all the like. That's pretty much what it is. Now, I am going to be also playing with Natty Disasters off. This one does not have a slider where you can lower or increase the frequency of things. So I'm just going to play with it off. So much like City Skylines 1, the first things we're going to want to do is get water, power, and some basic residential setup. After we get all that done, I believe we should hit a milestone, and that's where we can go ahead, check that out, see what we get, and then we can set up some commercial and industrial to finish off the beginnings of our city. All right, so here we are in game now, and you can kind of get a general sense of the layout here. Now, I want to check out the info views first before I start building anything. I want to check to see things like the wind direction, as well as the, where's the water one? As well as the water direction. You could do that up in the top left there. There's the little info views. And in the very bottom row of that, you got things like air pollution, ground pollution, noise pollution, and water pollution. This one will allow you to see, the one we're in now is the water pollution one. And it'll allow you to see the directional flow of water. In my opinion, this is a little bit hard to tell from especially far away, but when you zoom in, you can kind of tell that the triangles are just a little elongated in one direction, and that'll give you an idea of where you could put your water intake as well as your sewage output if you choose to use the bodies of water to pull and dump in. The air pollution is actually going to be something very important we're going to have to think about when placing things like residential and industrial. Residential is affected by both air pollution and ground pollution. Well, actually, it's affected by everything. So we're just not going to want to have our residential to the left of those arrows there. Or to the left of those arrows there. These ones are obvious. I really like the way they did these arrows. These ones you can clearly tell which way the wind's going. But the water one's just a little bit hard to see. But that's all right. And so knowing that we have, if we look at this, it looks like the water is actually flowing in this direction. Oh, it looks like it all congregates over here. So this might not be where we want to pull our water from. This might be where we want to dump our sewage at, since all the water looks to be pushing in this direction. And then we can pull our water from the opposite side. Oh my goodness, oh, jumpy game. We can then pull our water from the opposite side. As far as our pollution goes for this stuff, it looks like we're going to want all of our polluting stuff as far down on the island over here as we can. I'm thinking this end would probably be pretty good for things like our power plants and generic industry. And luckily for us, we have a road that comes right off in this direction, almost as if it's pointing us over here, and our power lines over here, letting us know that we have an external power source connection. So that way, if we don't want to make anything of our own, we can import electricity, or if we make too much, we can export for a little bit of profit. So I'm thinking over here on this side of the freeway, perfectly good for all of our city services, or our polluting city services and industry. Then over here on this side, we can go ahead and do our residential. And it looks like they even thought about that. They put a little fancy roundabout over here just to make things look nice or whatever for the people. So yeah, I think we can go ahead and stop debating on where and why we want certain things, and we can actually get it done. So if we come over here, I want to look at the topography. This is kind of like on a side of a hill here. And I'm thinking I would like to... Oh my goodness. All right. Wrong button there. My bad. And there's no Control Z with that, which is very unfortunate. But what I want to do is I want to create kind of like a pad from here where we push this out all the way. And I kind of want to push this up to the water over here. I don't want to get too close yet because I know that you can create key walls with roads. And I don't know how to do that. So I kind of want to leave this side over here a little bit untouched, just so that way maybe in the future we could mess around with our roads to try and create some key walls. Now, I know a lot of you are probably like, oh my goodness, you're totally disrespecting the topography. Honestly, I really don't care. This is the first city I'm actually building to share with people. And I just kind of want to learn, have fun, and get used to the mechanics of the game. So from here, I'm going to go ahead and bring out a 4-lane road all the way over here. That far is just about fine. I think that's okay. And then I think we want to put our electricity production as far over as we can. So maybe we want to extend this out just a little bit further. That looks about fine right there. We can go ahead and extend our 4-lane road out as far as we can. I'm just going to push it all the way to the end here. And then I'm going to take a 2-lane road and come off maybe, I don't know. Let's try right about there. It looks like we need to push our land back a little bit further, or our pad back. Something right about there. Push this all the way out there. Now I'm actually going to delete this power line because I happen to already know that the outside connection is underground and we can in fact build from there. Oh my goodness. But I'm going to go ahead and just slap this electricity production or whatever down right here. Now, in order to put your... I'm going to get rid of this view so that way we can actually see. You can see that the external power line that we can build connects to the back side of the building over here. However, you can actually put this underground by simply pushing the page down button on your keyboard. I believe. I think that's how it works. At least that's how I do it. But I don't know if that'll be how everybody else here does it. And then as soon as you connect it up to this node that was over here, boom, you now have external power up. External power. So pretty much everything that this power plant produces that we aren't using is being exported for profit. Now let's go ahead and think about, well, that's our power. So I guess now we need to actually think about water. Now we did say that we wanted to put our water draw from this side of the city. I think this little bay right over here is just a little bit too close to all of our industrial over there. So I'm thinking of using this one over here. It is just a little bit farther away, and maybe that distance will help out with pollution. But unfortunately, oh, that's right. I didn't even talk about the options we have. We have this one, which is not, there we go. The water pumping station. I like this one because it produces the most water with the lowest upkeep and has a very low noise pollution. But the only downside is that it requires, it says surface water, It requires an actual body of water. The other things like this water tower, this one can actually just go anywhere. It doesn't even require groundwater. I have no idea where it gets its water from, but that's none of my business. And then you have the groundwater pumping station, which is the second cheapest option. It's absolutely nowhere near the efficiency of the water pumping station, but it's there if you want it. But this one happens to require things like this right here, this little blue blob, which is your groundwater. But anyways, now that we put down the cheapest, most efficient option, you can see there's 3 notifications here. It requires a road, it requires a water pipe, and it requires electricity. Now in this game, electricity, water, and sewage are all transported by roads, but in case it's a building that doesn't require a road, you can run that stuff out there with specific pipes, as you can see down here in our menu. You got a solo water pipe, solo sewage, or a combined. And same with electricity. I believe with electricity, we have things like power lines and cables and whatnot, in case it doesn't get transported by electricity. So what I was thinking for the road is I want to extend off of this roundabout a 4-lane road, but I want to kind of look at our contour lines here. And I kind of want to get an idea of where I want our future roads to go. I want to pull it off of this roundabout and go in this direction somewhere, just that way I can then run another road off of that that'll lead to our water pumping station over there. Now it looks like we have a hill right here. So it looks like if we were to come off of the right side of this roundabout, we can go around the right side here and through there. And if we bring one off of the front, it continue off of the road in the direction it's going, we can then wrap it around over on this side of the hill, bring it down to the waterfront over here and run it around. Maybe down over here in this low beach area. In the future, we could have like some kind of a pedestrian area, boardwalk, commercial area or something like that. And I think that would be kind of neat for this road in the front to run off from. But as you can see, we have kind of a dip down right here before it goes back up again. So I'm thinking I'm going to take our terrain tools here and extend this out to the other contour lines here. And then I'm going to take our soften terrain tool, extend the size up, and then just kind of gently tap it along the end of what we just messed around with, just to make it look a little bit more natural. Then we can just kind of bring this out to the point where, or put it on the freeform, or not freeform anymore. We have a new one called continuous. That's the one I really like. I like it a lot. And I'm just going to kind of bring this along over here and wind it around and then end it right about there, where it looks like it's about to continue off around and down this hill over here. And then for our actual, what is this, the water pumping station, we're going to take our gravel road, which funny enough, gravel roads also carry water, sewage, and electricity. I wouldn't have guessed, but you know, I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to be thankful and be like, all right, cool. If it wants to carry water, sewage, and power, I'm not going to complain. And now I've just snapped it right here. I'm actually going to delete this road real quick so I could show you this. It's pretty neat the way they do this. There is actually a snap tool function. Here, I got to move my camera just so I could show you. I probably should have just turned it off for that. But if we look down here, you could see right down over there, it says snap to the sides of buildings. And that is actually a really cool function, because if we look at our thing here, you can see it kind of boop, snaps right into the water pumping station. Unfortunately, if you do check it out, it doesn't quite line up centrally, which is kind of weird. Maybe if we turn off our zoning grid snap. No, that didn't work. Snap to zoning cell length. Oh, that's actually how we could do it. Then we could boom, put it right there, and it's aligned. Not perfectly, but I'm not going to complain. It looks good enough. From a bird's eye view, you wouldn't know any better. Put that back. Oh, that's not quite back. There we go. Now I'm back in my place. Back in the corner, which means you can't call me baby, because nobody puts baby in the corner. But anyways, we got all of our roads and... Oh, autosave. We got all of our roads set up. We got our water and our electricity set up. But you can see that water is still complaining about electricity, and the power plant is complaining about What are they complaining about? I can't even see because these are overlapping. Water and sewage. Oh, that's right. We forgot about sewage here. So let's open this up. We only have one sewage outlet option currently, and it is just the basic sewage outlet. So let's pick it. And I believe it was right here in this particular bay where all of them appear to be the water runs into. So I'm going to go ahead and just put it, we'll just say right there is perfectly fine. This one actually does not require a road, oddly enough. All it requires is a sewage pipe. Oh, look at that, a barn. Kind of neat. Fancy that. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into here. We're going to grab just the solo sewage pipe, connect it to the node there, and then just drag it over to our road. And you can see how it just immediately snaps, and you can even kind of see how it looks like it connects up in there. That's exactly what we're looking for. And that's how you know it's connected. That's probably why it's complaining about water over at the electricity place. It's not even connected over here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our combo pipe here. We're going to make sure we see the actual connection there. Click, drag it all the way over, and make sure that we actually see it connected over here as well. And for the combo water pipes don't carry electricity, so we're going to have to take our electric cable here. Now, can this one go underground? Is this one underground? Oh, it is underground. So if we press the I key here, you can see it's actually above ground right now. It's a pole. We could push our page down and boom, it's an underground electricity cable. That's actually really cool. I like that a lot. So I'm going to go from here. It looks like it's connected. And then I'm just going to drag it all the way across until it connects over here. Just like that. And there we go. Now we got all of our services hooked up. And now I think all we have to do is wait for these notification icons to go away. Let's try speeding this up here. So I will be right back. And when I have it figured out, I'll say hello again. Hello. All right, so I'm actually just going to assume that it's actually a lack of workers because all the pipes are lit up. Everything's working. We have the water going into it, the sewage going out of it. If we go into electricity, this is now actually lit up. I actually thought this might have been the problem at first because I didn't extend the road out far enough in front of this place to touch this node over here. Actually, wait, what if we don't have it far enough yet still? Let's try that. There we go. So that other one's connected now. Maybe that'll actually... Maybe that's what's actually going on here. But anyways, we're just going to go ahead, ignore that, move on, and start building some residential here. So, oddly enough, I was actually thinking about building the residential off over in this corner over here, just right across the freeway from all the industrial. Because when we looked at our wind direction here, it's not quite downwind from it. Maybe some of the residential that's going to be over here might suffer a little bit, but we don't have to put homes right here. We could put something like a park or whatever. And I think that should be perfectly fine. And that'll be kind of a cool park too. Like it's right here on a little peninsula. You get to look at the bridge and whatnot. Maybe we can even put some pathways under the bridge so people can maybe walk to work over on this end. I think that'd be kind of neat. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put the I'm going to put the residential over here. So I actually don't know what kind of a layout I want to go with yet over here. So I'm just going to go ahead and time lapse the road build over here. And then I'll kind of talk about why I chose the layout I did or something. Or if I had any ideas, I'll talk about those then. So I will be right back. And here we are, tiny village on milestone unlocked. We got a bunch of money. We got +1 star thing and +3 square thing. Square and a hexagon. and a star and a hexagon. It doesn't really say what those are, but we can figure those out if we just look at our menu and things like that. So I'm actually going to click on the progression panel just to see what this is. And it leads us to the milestones here, where we can see all the different milestones we can get and things we can unlock. I do have a general idea of the things we can unlock because I have built cities up to kind of a bigger size in this. So I kind of know already. But what we just got now is we got medium density row housing for both EU and NA. Got a whole bunch of different roads here. We've got new services. We've got medical and garbage. These are things we're probably going to want to think about putting down as soon as possible. I do know that unlike City Skylines 1, you don't have to put them down immediately, but people will start to complain eventually when the issues start happening. It's like, I don't know how to say it, but either way, we can still go ahead and wait if we want to, but I'm just going to stick with the City Skylines 1 mentality and just put them down immediately. But it looks like we got two other tabs up top. We've got the development tree up here, and this is the +1 little star in a hexagon thing, or I think it's a hexagon. I could be saying a completely wrong shape, but we got +1 of those, and it looks like we can spend it on a few things. We can either spend it on more roundabouts, advanced road services, which will give us access to traffic lights, signs, decorations, and a road maintenance facility. We could buy an emergency battery station. I think this is in case you went with the windmills as your power source, because their power output fluctuates. You could put down the battery stations, that way they'd charge it during the day, then it would carry over during the night or something. Or I guess that would be for the solar station. I guess it's just in case the wind changes or whatever. We can't afford that. We can buy a crematorium, but I kind of want to mess around with just the default graveyard in this one. And most of the test cities I did, I immediately spent the point on the crematorium because I remember how much I hated having to wait so long for the crematorium in City Skylines 1 that it traumatized me to the point where I was buying the crematorium right off the bat, right off the rip, in all the first few cities I did. So I kind of want to try it out without the crematorium this time. And then we can't buy anything for garbage yet. So I think I am actually going to save our 1 point. Or maybe we can go with advanced road services. Actually, I'm going to go with advanced road services. That's what I'm going to do. We're going to unlock that, and that'll be fine. We'll put down a road maintenance depot at some point. But that's pretty much that. Let's go ahead and take a look at the city here. It looks like our power and water thing has worked itself out during that time. I guess it really was. We were just missing the people. And as far as the road layout here goes, I guess I'll make some comments on this. At least my thought process. I might not be right. I could be completely wrong. But I wanted a kind of like little miniature collector here to come off of the arterial. Oop, autosave. And to have kind of a couple collections going on over here. I felt like if I put this cul-de-sac here off of this road, they'd all just come down over here and use this roundabout. So I put it facing off of this one to make sure that their quickest route was out this over here, to kind of spread out that traffic a little bit. And then I wanted to do a key wall down here. Now we can actually zone on this, as you could see, and I think I did it successfully. I think I figured out how all those other fandangled YouTubers and content creators have figured out how to do this. Basically, you put when you're in your road tools here, you can see, oh, let's get my cursor out of the way there. You can see right over there, right next to where I'm pointing, there's the up and the down arrow with the 0 meters, and then there's like the little Wi-Fi bar looking thing over there. Over there, I guess in some countries it's rude to point, so I'll use my whole hand here. I put the Wi-Fi bar all the way down to 1 bar, and I basically just pushed the page up button, I think 2 or 3 times, until it actually had the key wall, and it had the zoning on the side. But if I went any higher, it would then get rid of the zoning. And if I went even higher than that, it turned into a bridge. So there's like a really fine area in there where you can actually create the key wall with the zoning on it. That's pretty much how you do it. You want to put it on the smallest possible. Keep paging it up until you eventually get it right. And then don't page it up too high. And then I left this road over here. I wanted to angle it out to the end of the peninsula here. I was thinking, I happen to know a few things, and so I'm actually not going to spoil it. We'll get into that later. So, or in a future episode. So actually, I'm just going to shut up on that. But yeah, and I was hoping that here in this, between these two main roundabouts here, we can come up onto the other side and create kind of like a transportation slash commercial center hub, which is what I kind of want. Maybe it'll be a place for all these residential homes over here to get a bite to eat, go shopping, and then also catch a bus either to work or wherever they need to go. And also, you can see how I have the paths. This was one of the things that was a little bit frustrating. It was one of the many things that's only very minorly frustrating that just kept adding up as I was playing the game. They don't have zoning adjustment tools in this one. There's a lot of things that we had in City Skylines 1 that just aren't in City Skylines 2, and it's just a little bit frustrating. So you have to use paths in order to stop zoning on roads. It is what it is. Just put them down. And then if you simply just demolish it, the zoning is now reoriented to be prioritized to the currently zoned one, so you don't really have to worry too much. Like I can delete that path. Everything's fine. So it's pretty much just a once buildings are built, then you could delete your paths. But yeah, that is residential, and I was thinking we should probably move into our city services now by putting down all of our new services that we just got. We got the road maintenance depot, we've got the medical clinic, we've got the cemetery, and we have the landfill. So, well, we also got the row housing, but we're not going to worry about that yet. I don't know quite where I want that, but we'll get to that in the future. We could probably put that around the transportation area. I think that would make the most sense, the transportation and commercial with row housing right next to it. But anyways, sorry, getting a little bit distracted here. We want to figure out where we want a lot of these to go. And I was thinking for the medical clinic and the cemetery, we could actually have them kind of in the middle of the neighborhood. I was thinking somewhere in this area right here between the water road over there and the neighborhood collector. So maybe we can bring a road off of here, make sure we're in the continuous mode here, and just kind of maybe swing it around over here and then hook it up over here. We can go ahead and upgrade this road over here. I'm going to upgrade it to a collector here. And this was another thing it's really tricky to get the hang of, is upgrading roads without doing anything really weird, like upgrading it way off to the right for no good reason. But we can do things, just going to do that there. Put a roundabout at the end. And then we can kind of fill this space in here with both the medical clinic and the cemetery. So let's see here. Yet again, I actually don't know how I want those to go in here. That's actually a very good question. So I think I'm going to distract myself really quick by putting down a road that kind of angles that down towards the beach. Bring a road off of here and just connect it straight in. We could eventually turn this into our little transportation area, I guess. I guess we could just come off over here, straight down into here. Come on, put it down. There we go, just like that. And maybe we can just put our cemetery in here, because the cemetery is really big. Actually, no, I do not like that placement. And let's try putting a road right down the center first, and then see if we can fit the cemetery on this side. We would have to demolish the path, but I'm actually... Alright, so I'm really tired of this stupid whiteness. I wish there was a toggleable whiteness mod for this already. But let's try angling this road here. Maybe pushing it out kind of like that. And then let's see if we can fit the cemetery. Oh my goodness, please stop flashbanging me. Then I'm just going to go ahead and put it down maybe right around here. It looks like it doesn't mess with the zoning on the left side, so we can kind of hide it behind some commercial. Maybe even on both sides, actually. But I kind of want to leave it open on this side. Oh my goodness. Jumpy game. I'm thinking maybe we can put some pathways from this main road all the way down on the sides of this. Because if we click on this, it's not just a cemetery. If you read the numbers up there above me, it says +3 well-being within 300 meters and +3 indoor recreation. So this is almost like a park. It's like a little miniature park almost. So it actually adds a benefit besides taking the dead. You do have to be careful though, because as you can see, there is no deceased processing on this. They just sit there, but it is quite a bit more than what it was in City Skylines 1. So I don't think we have to worry about it complaining too much. Or filling up too quickly, I should say. And then for the medical clinic, I know this might be a little bit morbid. Stupid flashbang. But I'm actually just going to go ahead and put it right across the street from the cemetery there. Just a little bit morbid, you know, but you go to one and you hope you don't have to go to the other kind of thing. Or if you went to one, you wish you went to the other. But anyways, that's the medical clinic and the cemetery. I'll go ahead and pretty this area up later, but for now, I think that's pretty fine. Now, garbage. This is the one that might be a little tricky here. Yeah, this is a massive building. Maybe not on this side. Let's go ahead and actually just bring back a road, maybe right about there. Oh, that's one way. I guess we're gonna have to upgrade. There we go. And then we can put our garbage processing right here. Now, this one is one of those ones, this is gonna be like your first introduction to like painting an area. We're gonna get these later on with some other stuff, but this basically affects its capacity. So as you can see, oh, I was about to point at the screen. If you look at where my cursor is up there, you can see right next to it, it says add a new node here, storage capacity. Now we can do this really big and you can get a lot of capacity, but we really don't need this much this early on. So I think I'm just going to go ahead and do a fairly small one. Let's try maybe right about there, and we can bring it out maybe over here and bring it down. 201 tons. That doesn't seem too bad to me. And it'll give us a little bit of processing as well, which this was actually interesting to me. Because the landfill in City Skylines 1 would just fill up and you'd have to keep placing more, and it was really annoying. But this one has a very, very small amount of processing speed of half a ton a month. But that's a good benefit. I don't mind. I like that. It's kind of cool. But now maybe for the road maintenance depot, we probably want to shove that over here in the corner. Ooh, I can't see anything with all that whiteness going on. Like, let's look at this again. Let's go ahead and bring this out. Like, really, can you see what's going on? Do you know anything that's going on with this vision? I can't. I can barely even see the zoning colors. Like, oh my goodness, like I can't, this is just way, way, way too bright. I don't know why they think this is a good idea, but it's none of my business. They're entitled to do what they need to do or what they want to do. It's their game. So I'm thinking I'm just going to bring a road maybe right off of here, and then just go ahead and shove the road. Oh, stinking whiteness. And then just shove it right there in the corner. And I think that will be perfectly fine. Now, what this also gives us access to is pressing the I button to turn off the whiteness, but we can we can add stop signs and things like that. We can also say no left turns, no straight throughs, no right turns. We can add crosswalks wherever we want. We can add sidewalks, grass, trees, and lights. So the lights is actually interesting. So this road here in the middle, this intersection is actually built with a 4-lane highway right in the middle. But if you have the lights up, which in itself does not carry water or power, as you saw at the beginning, we had to add the lines underneath. But if you have this lighting thing and you add lighting to a highway, it then carries electricity. So here we are, we have it just like that. Now if we go into our electricity view, you can see in the bridge it has that electrical wire now, and that actually carries the power. But it's not connected up because we didn't upgrade it all the way over, but that's fine. We just have to do things like that just to finalize the connection there. And it will carry power in itself, and we can actually delete that underground power line. So that's kind of cool. But I also wanted to mention that these no straight throughs, no left turns, no right turns are not lane specific. These are the all the lanes. So if you wanted to create a dedicated left-hand turn lane, you're going to have to use asymmetrical roads in opposing directions. You can't just apply the no straight through to the far left lane and hope it acts that way. You can't do that. So just to keep that in mind. But I'm going to go around, and I think it would be a good idea to maybe add stop signs at all of these intersections. And another thing, I mean, you guys probably already know, but when you put this down here, it applies the stop sign to every direction. You can't just apply it to the end of one road or another. It has to be all of them. And that is just a little bit disappointing, but I mean, what are you going to do? So I'm just going to go ahead and apply them all just like that. And I think that's looking pretty good. But we can't leave the city off just like this. I mean, look at our demand meter. We're almost capped out on everything. Oh, except for low density. Low density is plummeting right now for some reason. I'm not quite sure why. Oh, you guys can't see. Oh my goodness. So right there, you can see all of our demand meters are pretty fairly up there. Except for low density residential, which is plummeting again. So I actually don't want to leave the city off with commercial and industrial, without any commercial and industrial. So I think it would be a good idea for us to go ahead and zone some of that in and build it. So if you happen to notice, I left some zoning in the middle over here. Kind of like right here. Like, okay, let me complain a little bit more again here. Can you see where the zoning is in this view? With your zoning option up, can you see where the zoning is? If you mouse over it, yes, you can. But you can even barely see the zoning that you've already put down. Like, oh my goodness. I'm going to quit complaining. So I actually left a bunch of zoning in here because I actually want to put this commercial right along here, along this side. I'm not going to do the opposite side yet because we do want to put down our, like a bus terminal or something in here. So we just want to make sure that we have, ooh, hold on a second here. I need to save some space for the end of this cul-de-sac here. Oh, I'm so sorry. I know you just started building there. I'm so sorry, my friend. Hopefully you can forgive me. But we're going to go ahead and put a pathway just like that. Oh, create a crosswalk right there. But I kind of want to, I forget what I was even talking about. Oh, because I'm not going to do the commercial zoning on the opposite side just yet. Because we do want to save room for like the bus terminal or bus depot, or not the depot, but the bus stops or whatever. So I'm just going to do this one side just like that. And I think that'll actually be good enough for now. But as for industrial, that is when we come over here and we need to actually get to work. So we need to put down maybe just a few roads. I actually don't think our industrial is like too heavy or too, I don't know what I'm trying to say here. I think we don't need to zone in a lot of industrial. So I think we can get away with maybe just putting down a bunch of planning roads, kind of like we did with the residential, and then just putting down a little bit of industrial. So I'm actually going to time lapse the roads because I don't know how I want them placed in here just yet. Kind of just jumping in here willy-nilly. So I will be right back. All right, and we've hit small village just from this little bit of industrial where we've gotten 2 more points, 4 more tiles, and 700,000 more dollar redues. Gonna click on the progression panel again just to see what we got. We unlock taxation, medium density housing, education, so elementary and high school. And if we go to development here, let's go ahead and see what we can unlock with education. So we can immediately right off the bat unlock college, which is pretty neat. But I don't know if we want to do that yet since we're only really working with generic industry. I guess we'd have to check them out by clicking on them and seeing what kind of jobs they want, if we're even allowed to know that just yet. But we do have 2 points to spend now. And I'm not quite sure what I'd like. We could go with a water treatment plant here so that way we can, instead of dumping the water out into the ocean, we can process it ourselves. We could go with a gas power plant to increase the amount of electricity we produce as well as export for profit. We could buy a whole bunch of different types of roads. I'm not quite sure. I think I'm actually just going to leave these in the bank for now and worry about that later. But that is pretty much it for today, I think. I'm actually really happy with where our city's at. I know it says we only have like a population of 80 way over there, but that's fine. We're in the negative. You know what? We're living off of government subsidies right now, but I think in the future, as we progress, we'll go ahead and finally cross over that positive income threshold. But there are some things I did want to talk about as far as industry and commercial goes that I have noticed. If we click on it, if you saw my industries guide video from City Skylines 1, you would know that I figured out, I don't know if I was the initial person to figure it out, but I was definitely one of the people to figure out that the name correlates to the resources required and whatnot. Now, for this one, City Skylines 2, I'm really thankful that they just put it right in the tooltip up there. You can see that it says it requires rocks and it produces concrete. You go on to the next one, vegetables makes beverages, grains makes foods, timber makes paper. It's really cool. It tells you exactly what it needs and what they want. And it looks like they're complaining about labor and education. I guess I should probably zone some more in, but we're just going to go ahead and pause the simulation and take care of that next time. As far as commercial goes, they've actually done the same thing because they've just completely done away with the generic commercial zone goods. Each commercial place actually requires specific things. Like this one right here sells petrochemicals. I don't know if we have anything that produces that yet, which means that that particular building is actually going to be importing its goods until we produce it. Same with this one up here. Produces chemicals, produces sells electronics, sells pharmaceuticals, whatnot, and so forth. And not only that, but if we come over to the medical clinic, you could see it has a storage where it holds pharmaceuticals in order to treat people with. And I think that's really neat, which means that if we want to be completely self-sufficient in City Skylines 2, like we kind of were in City Skylines 1 in Applegate, we have a lot to consider and a lot to produce and whatnot. So I really like this. This is really cool. I really like how they kind of simplified it by taking out the general commercial goods. But yeah, that's pretty much it. I know this was actually a really, really long video. I'm thinking it's like it's going to be like 30, maybe 40, maybe even 40 to 50 minutes. I'm really sorry about that. I didn't mean for it to be so long. It just happened to work out that way. Simply because it's the first episode of City Skylines 2. I'm excited. There's a lot I want to talk about. But I know it was nothing extravagant. But hey, we're going to try and work this city to become something extravagant. Well, maybe not this city, but we're definitely going to be learning a lot from this city. And I hope to learn enough to be able to put out some guides in the future. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and detail the city, and this is my goodbye. So I appreciate the fact that you watched, even though, oops, I should probably pause the simulation there. I appreciate that you guys watched. I really do. And I hope to see you come around for the next episode of Cardinalia. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the future.